On the evening of Saturday, July 16, 2005, in Antioch, Tennessee, the sun began to dip below the horizon. Inside the Game Exchange on Hickory Hollow Parkway, the air was filled with the familiar sounds of clicking controllers and the chatter of gamers hunting for their next favorite title. Behind the counter stood Cole Richard, a teenager whose life revolved around the very games he sold and the Honda del Sol he painstakingly cared for. But the peaceful atmosphere of the store was about to be shattered by a senseless act of violence that would leave a family shattered and a community in mourning. Before we continue with this tragic story, please take a moment to comment, like, share, and subscribe, so you don't miss future episodes of the Calendar of Crime. Your support helps us keep these stories alive and brings us one step closer to finding justice for victims like Cole. Cole Richard was more than just an employee at Game Exchange. He was a young man with a bright future and a passion for life. A former student at Radnor Baptist Academy, where he played basketball, Cole was known for his infectious smile and his deep love for cars. His family fondly remembers his Honda del Cole, a car that represented his independence and hard work. That Saturday, Cole had plans to meet his girlfriend and his sister, Maggie, for dinner. A simple, happy end to a work week that he would never get to enjoy. Just before 7 p.m., two young men entered the store, but they weren't there to browse the latest releases. In a matter of moments, a routine robbery turned into a nightmare. As the suspects demanded cash and merchandise, a firearm was produced, and in the chaos that followed, Cole was shot. The cold-blooded nature of the attack was startling. A young life was extinguished for a handful of items and a small amount of money. The store manager, hearing the shots, didn't hesitate to act. He pursued the two suspects out of the store and into the parking lot, leading to a dangerous exchange of gunfire between the manager and the fleeing men. Despite the manager's brave efforts, the suspects managed to escape into the humid Tennessee night, leaving behind a scene of devastation. Emergency responders arrived quickly, but there was nothing they could do to save Cole. In the days and weeks that followed, the Antioch community was gripped by fear and sadness. The senselessness of killing a teenager over a video game store robbery struck a chord with everyone who heard the news. Police combed through evidence and interviewed witnesses, but the leads eventually grew cold. The two men who walked into that store and changed so many lives forever seemed to have vanished into thin air. For Cole's sister, Maggie Lee, and the rest of his family, the passage of time has not dulled the pain of their loss. They have spent nearly 2 decades pleading for answers, keeping Cole's memory alive through social media and local news features. They describe him as a kind-hearted soul who didn't have an enemy in the world, making the violence of his final moments even harder to reconcile. The case of Cole Richard remains one of Nashville's most heartbreaking unsolved mysteries. Every year on July 16th, his family marks the anniversary not just of his death, but of the day the world lost a talented, car-loving young man who deserved so much more. The Game Exchange where he worked is a reminder of a life cut short, and the empty chair at the family dinner table serves as a constant call for justice. As we look back on that fateful evening in 2005, we are reminded that justice delayed is not justice denied. Somewhere, someone knows who walked into that store on Hickory Hollow Parkway. Someone knows who pulled the trigger and fled into the night. Until those individuals are brought to account, the Calendar of Crime will continue to tell Cole's story, ensuring that he is never forgotten. Thanks for watching. Please comment, share, like, and subscribe for future episodes from the Calendar of Crime.